Welcome to Steve Draws. I'm Steve, a Dutch illustrator and animator, and in this video I'm going to do a review about a very big book, and it's one of my favorite comic artists, and it's Chris Ware. The book is called Monograph. I bought this book in the store, but it's also available on Amazon, and it's a huge book with a lot of great art, and in the beginning you also have an original page. Well, it's not an original page, but the original size you drew in. And on the back, there's also another page, so you can see how Chris Ware draws. And he does everything on paper. I had to lay this huge book on the ground so I could film it. This is not the first big book of Chris Ware. I have several books that are this tall, but Monograph is a sort of a Chris Ware Bible. It's a very personal book. There are 2 comic pages at the original size in the beginning of the book. You can still see the repro blue pencil he sketched with, and the lettering and titles he drew by hand. It has an introduction by Francoise Mouly and Art Spiegelman, a renowned comic artist you may know of his graphic novel Mauss. They also published the magazine Raw and gave Chris Ware his first break in 1987. If you're not familiar with the work of Chris Ware, you might know him from the covers he did for the New Yorker magazine, or the covers he made for the Crazy Cat series and Gasoline Alley. His style is a retro style and references to those comics from the 30s. I've met Chris Ware once at a comic convention in my town. He had an exhibition and I bought an original cover of Jimmy Corrigan. That was in 1989. Unfortunately, I sold the original to a good friend. I should have kept it, because now it's worth 4 times as much. Chris Ware is a very humble person, and it's not like him to publish such a personal book. Most of his personal life is in his stories of Jimmy Corrigan and other characters. This is what he said about Monograph. Does the world really need another printed tome about an artist, let alone one about an admittedly marginal and rather questionable graphic novelist artist writer who has already littered the recycling centers and used bookstores of his home country with dog-eared examples of his own self-regard? I followed his work from the beginning because I love his style of drawing, mainly because I love the drawing style and posters of the 20s and 30s. This book shows a good insight of all the art that Ware has produced over the years. But it also shows some candid pictures from his childhood. What's so interesting about this book is that you can see the progression he has made over the years. But the way he builds up his art and comic pages have remained the same. This book also have fictional ads. All of the art is hand-drawn on paper. This book shows his art almost at the same size. His covers are amazing because of all the typography that's drawn by hand. The great thing about this book is that it shows the art with the pencil's work showing up. They're scanned in like the originals. As an artist, I always love to see that. It gives you an insight on how the art was built up. This book is pretty concentrating on the art. All the writing in this book is very small. Ware talks about the lesson he's learned along the way, about drawing techniques, the history of art, the links between cartoons and cinema, and about life and the coming of age. I discovered a lot of art I've not seen before, like the sculptures and maquettes he has made. It also has 7 little books that are glued into the book. The book has 275 pages and is a great treat if you are a Chris Ware fan. And if you haven't already, you will be after you have read and watched this book. I hope you enjoyed this review, and I'll leave a link in the description box down below to this book on Amazon. If you want me to do more videos like this, please let me know in the comments down below. What kind of books do you like to read or study from? Please let me know in the comments down below. Drawing is fun, and practice makes perfect. See you next time. Doodles!